I have grown up in an environment where failure is a taboo. Failure is not accepted. How about you? Do you know how to deal with failure? Let's get into this.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Words with That One Lady.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the podcast. It's been a minute. We recorded just because there's just been a lot going on. But today we will be talking about failure, and I'm not sure what the sound is going to sound like. Anyway, because I'm in transit and doing this recording because I feel like it's very paramount. And it's paramount because today is my birthday. And if you're listening to this the day I post this, it's my birthday. If not, it was a few days ago. And as it is normally for birthdays, I don't know how you celebrate, but sometimes for birthdays, a lot of us, we sit back, relax, and we try to take stock. What has the year been like? What has the previous year been like? Or what has the previous years been like? Where you headed? Where you coming from? What's the goal? What's the purpose? And in all of our celebrations, we're very, very big on celebrating all our wins, all the things that worked, all the things that we excelled in, but nobody talks about the failures or the things that did not work or the things that did not pan out right. And in this episode, I will be talking about all of those. The truth is, I've come to the realization that amongst the numerous things that I learned from family, among the numerous things that I learned from those that I care about, I did not learn how to navigate failures. I did not learn how to cope with them. I did not learn that failure was something that actually happened. What do I mean? So it wasn't until I started doing things myself and I started doing better things that I realized that, oh, I actually, I'm supposed to come in contact with failure, or I'm supposed to experience failures. I think what I learned growing up was whatever you put effort to, you will do well at, and that's it. So therefore, when you do something and it doesn't work out well, or that you don't excel at it, it is because you did not put enough effort. However, as I grew older and I started doing a lot with like working and being very, when I say working, I mean, like take for instance school, like you read a lot, you put all your effort into it, and then the results come out and it's not what you expect. I kind of figured that no, you can actually do everything right and not excel in something. You can actually do everything by the book, check all the boxes, and still things don't pan out right. I think that was a little jarring for me. That was something that I couldn't come to terms with. For someone who grew up with the thought process that if the total score of an exam is 100 and you get 98, there's something wrong with you. I have come to realize that sometimes it's okay for things not to go the way you actually thought they were going to go, or it's okay that you put effort into something and it doesn't pan out right, and that is part of the growth process of life. And I would say that even up till today, it's something I don't think I have come to good grasp with. And someone will say, what do you mean? You're too old not to know by now that failure is inevitable. The truth is, I do 100% in everything I do. I never do things haphazardly. However, with the I don't even know how to put it. The sense that I've always had to do, like I've always had to do a lot of things, like do this, when you're pursuing a lot of things in life. My thought process has always been, because I put all the effort, everything's supposed to pan out right. Then when things don't work out the way I want them to work out, I go through a very huge spiral that I think a lot of us go through. And we sometimes, because of these huge spirals that we go through due to failures, we don't learn from the process of failing at something. When something don't works out, well, when something does not work out right, sometimes we can be so engulfed in the it did not work out right that we don't sit back and review why did it not work out right and how can I make the next step better. Rather, we just wallow in our pain, wallow in our penury, and we sit down and we're like, oh, it did not work out. That means I'm terrible. That means I'm bad at this. That means I'm not supposed to do this. And we leave it and we just go away. Like we just say, okay, maybe this is not for me, and we leave it alone and go away. Instead of sitting and saying, okay, what did I do for this thing? How did I work for it? What did I do wrong, or what do I think I did wrong? Can I review it with someone that is older, someone that is much more mature, that has gone through this process with me before, and can tell me that, hey, I think this is where you got it wrong. I think if you had put more effort in this, you could have done better at it. I think that's where we miss it, and God knows I do so bad at it, and that's something that I'm beginning to learn. I recently experienced a setback in something that I was doing, and I had like a set timeline for everything. I'd put everything down and it was going that way, and then I hit a snag. When I hit the snag, I was so mad. I wailed a lot. Everybody, you guys should know. If you know me, you know me well. I cried a lot because I was like, no, I've put all the effort into this. I've done everything right. Under normal circumstances, I've put all the effort that I'm supposed to put. So why did it not work out? However, a couple of days after my wallowing and my everything, I sat back and asked myself, okay, great, you did all you thought you were supposed to do, and it's not working out how you want it to work out. How can you do this better? How can you ensure that, this failure, it's not just a failure, but it's a teachable moment for you to ensure that you don't do bad at this again? How can you make sure that this is a learning step for you so that next time when you undertake something that seemingly looks like this or something that could be like this, you don't fail at it, but you do way better from this process because you've learned from this process? Well, trust me, to be sincere, it's not something you want. Nobody ever wants to fail. Nobody ever wants to go through that moment where they have to tell themselves that, oh, this did not work out and you have to do it again. And yeah, that's the message I have for everyone. Failure is inevitable. If you've never failed at something before, you are not growing, you're not learning. That was a hard fact that I had to learn. If you have not failed at something, you might not have the tools or all it takes to be a successful person. And I say that with so much reservation because I'm sure somebody can come and say, no, I've done all this things all my life. I've never ever failed at it before. Good for you if you've never failed at anything before, but great people, or if you look back or go check out the history of people who turned out to be really great in life and you've heard of, they failed numerous times. And the difference between someone who has failed a number of times and someone who has never failed is that the person learns from their failure and keeps building on their failures, meaning whatever they did wrong, they build on it to correct it, and they do extremely better. They're not limited by their success. Sometimes when you succeed at something, you don't think there's anything to work on. However, when you fail at something, you have the opportunity to fix your errors, to learn from your errors, even go back and do better than you think you had done before. Sometimes our successes are only based off of the results we see today. So if you work on something and you see that you passed it, you move on. You're not encouraged, or you don't have the zeal to like work on it more, to do more. However, when you fail on something, you almost have the zeal to like work on it more, do more to improve that thing that you're doing and get better at it. So I think what I'm trying to, point out here is, if you find yourself doing all that you can do and still not getting the results that you want to get, it means that you need to work harder. And that doesn't mean that you're not working harder. You just need to, go back to it, review the process. What am I doing? What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Is there a better way to do this? Can I speak to someone who has gone through this process before, who might have learned from this process before, and you know can tell me something that I can do better, or tell me some tricks and tips that will help me be better at this thing. That's my pointer. Also, I think sometimes we always see birthdays as times to celebrate success, like I said earlier. But this episode is just to celebrate all the downsides that I've ever experienced in life that has made me be where I am today. Today I celebrate, finishing up a PhD, or well, I have in the past. Like I did a couple of episodes ago, but I also in that celebrate the 10 rejections I got when I first applied to a PhD program. I remember my friends all getting admitted into programs, and I got 10 rejections back to back. And I remember sitting down with friends and sitting down with my colleagues who had gotten admission to see how they were writing their admission letters, their statement of results, the statement of purposes, and using that to fix mine and write more, putting myself out there more as regards to research and how to present myself to like a potential supervisor. And here I am today. I have a PhD. So yeah, that's basically what I think I've spent my day doing. I think I've spent my day looking back at the pitfalls, downfalls, and appreciating them because they've spurred me to do better. Are you worried about something today? Is there something that has concerned you, something you've been trying to do that has not been working? Instead of wallowing in that thing, take a step back and look at the thing and say, okay, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? How can I fix it? Who can I speak to help me? And I think I always do these episodes because I want every one of us who are growing to become adults and parents to be able to tell our kids about these things and fix the mistakes that maybe our parents might have made. I have an episode coming up about upbringing, and it was supposed to come out a while ago, but it's just been a month of a few things that have just not gone that well, but I'm positive about them. The episode's ready to go, and I'm gonna post it right after this one because this one is going out today. But yeah, I am very very keen to make sure that every one of us, like when I say every one of us, people like me who are aiming to have kids tomorrow and want kids, are able to make sure their kids don't go through this spurts that we all went through, where we did not know how to grapple with failure, where we always heard our parents say, when I was your age, I was doing so good. When I was your age, I was doing so great. So therefore, we did not know that there was something called failure, and it was okay, and it was part of the growth process. And then we all started to experience failures one way or the other, and then we thought that we were just terrible. We just thought that, it was impossible to fail, or if you failed, you were just terrible and you were not doing great. Yeah. So my fellow youngins who are out there, if you can tell your siblings, tell them now. Failure is inevitable. Failure is okay. Failure is part of the process. Even as a Christian, it's alright. If you don't fail, how do you get closer to God? I remember a friend of mine who went through some issues in school, and the issues in school kind of drew her so much closer to God. And if she had not experienced that, I don't know if, her spiritual life would have grown more than that. So yeah, even sometimes I know some of you be like, but we're Christians, we're not supposed to fail. Even God puts some things in our lives. God makes some things happen in our lives so that, we learn. It's all part of the process. So please tell your siblings, tell your younger ones, even your older ones, that failure is okay. You don't have to kick yourself into the ground because you're failing. You don't have to, think that you're the worst person in the world for failing. It's okay even if your friends are not failing at something. It's okay. You should learn that you're special. That's why things are, going the way they're going. And the only place where someone's going to mess up is if, because of failure, you decided to give up on the things that you're doing. Because of failure, you decide to remove your hands for the things that you that love doing. That's where you would mess things up. So when things don't go right, it's okay to wallow too. However, don't spend too much time wallowing. When you wallow, take a step back and ask yourself, dust yourself off the ground and ask yourself, okay, what next now? What can I be doing now? What can I do differently? And again, when you fail at something, don't do things the same way. Because if you fail at something, it means the way you tried it is not working. Cut that off and start again. And take a different approach, take a different step. Do something new, do something different. And trust me, you will learn in the process on, how you can improve on yourself, on your skill. And the truth is, in the process of improving or doing better from a failure, you tend to learn a new thing about yourself. You learn endurance, you learn perseverance, and these are things that will become helpful at the end of the day. They might not seem like it makes sense now. Trust me, when you feel at something and you're trying to do better, it never makes sense. It never makes sense until after a while then you realize, oh, I remember how this culminates to where I am now. So yeah, we've always learned that everything needs to make sense, but trust me, success never makes sense until you finally start seeing the results. Or even failure too doesn't make sense until you start seeing the results. Sorry, that's what it's supposed to be. Failure never makes sense until you start seeing the results. So yeah, this beautiful birthday message I have for every one of you out there is, even if you're not a Christian, failure is inevitable, and it's a process of learning. It's a process of advancement. It's a process of garnering new skills and knowing more about yourself. It's also a process of, taking a different approach at something. And if you're a Christian, failure is a way for you to see God differently. Imagine praying about something and you never worked for it, or you're praying about something, you did not put action into it. That's interesting. However, when you pray about something, you put work into it, it doesn't work. You take another step into it, it doesn't work. You do another thing. In those three processes, you have taken 3 different steps and you've learned 3 different skills if care is not taken. So yeah, remember to, as you were praying and doing all those things, make sure that you're not trying the same thing. Make sure you're not doing it the same way. When one way doesn't work, look, there are 50 other ways you can do something. And if you try all 50 ways and it doesn't work, then it's time to speak to somebody, and ask. Because no one is an island. Everybody, people around you know things better than you do. Ask, question, speak out. And you'll find someone who will tell you something that you've not heard before, something different, or different steps that you've not taken. So yeah, that's all that I have for you guys today. The truth is, even if they had told me that failure was inevitable, I'm not sure if it would have changed anything for me. But maybe it would have been okay. It would have been better if I knew that there was something called failure and it was something that happens in life. So, and I say this to say that it's not like I blame parents or adults or those who have been before us for not telling us that there's something called failure. No, I don't blame them. But I wish it was something that we talked about more, and we didn't shy away from it. I wish that there was less of the conversations of, when I was your age, I was this. But rather, when I was your age, I was this, but there was also times when it was hard. Yeah. But you know what though? They meant good. Parents, uncles and aunties all meant good when they said that. It was for them a form of encouragement for us. But then again, when we started experiencing failures, we just didn't now know what to do with ourselves, because we felt like, oh, my uncle, my auntie, my dad, my mom said they did great, so why am I different? Anyway, I guess that's where I'll round it up. Thank you so much, guys, for listening, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Until next time, keep living, loving, and showing you're living your truth. Bye, guys.
guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it so much, don't forget to share. Let your friends know. Let your sister, brothers, uncle, mothers, fathers know about it. It can help anybody. This can help anybody at all. So go ahead and share it. If you also have a question, comments, things you'd like me to do more, or anything you'd like me to hear, go ahead and leave me an email. Check the description and you will find my email there, and I would love to hear back from you guys. Thank you so much once again, and until next time, keep living, keep loving, and ensure that you're living your truth. And until the next podcast, have a wonderful day. Bye guys.